Hey guys, you are watching Brand Better with Nicole Harlow, the show where I'm going to teach you to, well, brand better. Over the years, one of the biggest objections that I've gotten when I've been on sales calls with potential clients is, why can't I just go over to Fiverr or 99 Designs and buy a logo for a fraction of the price? I'll be honest, for the longest time, I had no idea how to answer this question. And I'm sure a lot of my coaches and service providers out there will totally get me on this one. I mean, how do you showcase the value of what you do, especially when you're put on the spot? I mean, cue like sweaty hands and heart racing and just this feeling of like, I have no idea what to say to this question. I always felt like I just wasn't really sure how to prove what it is that Brand Better does. And what I realized is this. A lot of people out there, even myself from way back in the day, kind of don't have a clue what branding actually is. And if you're a service provider or a coach, you may find yourself in an industry where a lot of your people don't really know what it is that you do, they just know that they need it. So for me, sitting down with potential branding clients, I needed to realize what they're thinking and put myself in their shoes, realizing that a lot of my potential clients don't really know what branding is. So it's my job to educate them on what branding is way beyond the logo. There's a really big myth and misconception that a branding is all about your logo. And if you think about it that way, then it makes sense to go to a Fiverr or 99 Designs and pay anywhere from $5 to maybe $99 or a little bit more on a logo and call it a day. But branding is so much more than that. See, when somebody hires myself and my team at Brand Better, they're getting a logo. Yes, that's part of the package, but there's so much more that we do that goes beyond the logo. So a typical signature package with us would include strategic offer mapping, brand story breakdown, market landscape, competitive analysis, our brand pop type assessment, key differentiators, character diamond analysis, brand voice, brand tone, buyer persona breakdown, brand manifesto, brand positioning, and brand statement. And that's in addition to all the ways that we work with a client's brand as well. But sometimes words just aren't enough. You need to show and not tell. So I decided to go and see what all the fuss was about over at Fiverr and see if a logo from Fiverr really is all that I need. Spoiler alert, it's not. I wanted this to feel like a real experiment that felt really fun for me. So what I did was I took 4 of our clients that we just launched in the last 6 weeks, and I hired 4 randomized designers from Fiverr. I fictionalized our clients, so I gave them new names, but I kept their job role the same, and I kept any questions that people had around the business or what the brand was all about, which you'll see in a second, was very little. I got very few questions. I kept that all the same. The other thing I did when I was choosing our clients is I made sure to go with 4 clients that I feel like had very distinct personalities. And I know this because I've spent a lot of time with our clients really getting to know them, really digging deep into their brand mission and their brand message. So before we even get to the finished product smackdown, there was a couple things that I noticed off the bat that were really different from the way that we work with clients. Number 1, where were the questions? I was really surprised that out of the 4 designers that I hired, 2 of them never asked any questions beyond what was our business name and if we had like a subtitle or a tagline. The other 2, well, let me show you what their questions were. This one where the designer is just asking, hey, can I know a little bit more about your business? Okay. And my personal favorite, hello dear, let me know in detail more about your business. This kind of blew my mind because my first thought was, how can you make a logo without knowing anything about someone's business? By comparison, here is a lengthy screen grab of a questionnaire that we send to all of our clients. It usually takes them about 60 to 90 minutes to complete, but some of our clients have been known to spend 3 or 4 hours working on this. We ask some really cool questions, like if there was any actor or celebrity who would play your brand, who would it be? You'd be surprised by the kind of answers that we get. If your business or brand has a flavor, what would it taste like? And what would the theme song of your brand be? You would be amazed by how creative we can get just by these few simple questions, but we get really in depth with the questionnaire. Number 2 is, when can I meet you? I was really surprised, and I guess this makes sense because the logos were so cheap and there's no way you could run a business if you were spending time talking to clients, but we had no face-to-face with our clients. At Brand Better, we start off every project with at least a 60-minute kickoff call where they meet the entire team, not just myself. We go in depth into their questionnaire and get a chance to really vibe them out so they can know us and we can know them in more detail. And the third difference that I noticed is the copyright question. So something that a lot of people don't think about when they're buying a cheaper logo is, are you actually able to own the copyright of that logo? And a follow-up question is, in the future, are you able to trademark it? So when you're first getting started and you only have a budget for a cheap logo, you're not really thinking about trademarking, but let me assure you that as your business grows, you're going to want to trademark that intellectual property at some point. So when we get into a gray area in a Fiverr or sometimes a 99 Designs, or even just working with a cheap designer off of Upwork, it's often a little bit murky about whether you can copyright it or not. So I did a little bit of sleuthing. I tried to see if we could copyright or if we own the copyright of these Fiverr designs, and I couldn't really figure that out. Flash forward to me reading this very long and lengthy thread here on the Fiverr website where there's a lot of people fighting back and forth, calling each other names, and at the end of the day, there wasn't really a clear answer at the end. Versus here at Brand Better, we make it refreshingly simple. We have it listed out in our contract. And the way that it works is pretty standard for how it works with other designers, which is until the project is paid in full, Brand Better retains the copyright. It's our design work, and it protects us from clients coming in, not paying, and basically stealing our work and then using it as their own. And when it's paid in full, 100% of the copyright transfers over to the client. So easy peasy. Those clients have a full copyright of their design and they're able to trademark it in the future. Okay, now the moment that you have all been waiting for, the showdown between the logos, theirs versus ours. The question is, with minimal knowledge about our client's business, will these designers be able to hit the mark? Let's find out. Client number one, we fictionally named Laura Smith of Healthy Lives. Our designer didn't really ask us much about her business or really anything about her business. So this is the logo that we got for Laura Smith. Now our actual client is called Dr. Larissa of the brand True Health. And in working with Larissa, we found out that she really loves sacred geometry, particularly a sacred geometry shape called a torus, which is kind of a really cool donut shape. So we wanted to play with that. We also wanted to play with some organic shapes. We worked together on a color palette. We asked Larissa, what are 5 words that describe your brand? And she said, confident, authentic, simplicity, wisdom, and feminine. We also asked her what her brand would smell like, and she came up with being in the forest, that smell of oxygen and freshness. Now here's a preview of the logo and some assets that we came up with for Dr. Larissa. So you can see a big difference here. I don't think I'm tooting my own horn at the quality that came out of the work for Dr. Larissa. Now on to client number 2. For Fiverr, we called this client Lisa Davids, and her tagline was rejuvenating your health. We didn't really know anything else about the business, and this is a series of logos that our designer came up with. Now, when we sat down and we worked with Dr. Liana of Rejuvenous Health, we asked her questions like, what are 5 words that would describe your brand? She served us up transformational, multi-dimensional, energetic, progressive, and last but not least, sophisticated. When we asked if there was an actor or celebrity who would best play her brand, she told us Scarlett Johansson because she's dynamic and she's able to flip from comedy to drama in a heartbeat. You can see from this logo and the assets that we created for Dr. Liana that it really pulls together that sophisticated, modern, energetic, and a little transformational and a little sexy too. That's that vibe that she was going for. Number 3 was one of our wild cards because this client is a type of client that we don't usually work with. So I wanted to make sure to not just work with our typical people, but give 4 very distinct personalities. To our Fiverr designer, we proposed the name Nursing Simulation Solutions with the tagline Simulation Best Practices and Technologies. Surprisingly, we didn't even get a follow-up email to see what exactly is this business all about. I had to have at least an hour conversation with our client to just wrap my head around what it is that they actually do. This is the logo that we got for our fictional company, But I can let you in on the secret that our client is a brand called Sim to Grow. They create nursing simulation solutions for nursing schools. I don't have to spend any time really going into what that job is all about because that was for us to know and us to create the perfect brand for them. Not only did we create them a great logo, but we created lots of assets like marketing materials and boxes that they can send out to their potential clients. When we asked the ladies over at Sim to Grow what character or celebrity would play their brand, they came up with a duel between Mary Poppins and Nanny McPhee, someone who's straight to the point, straightforward, and is going to sweep in and help you and teach you exactly what to do. For our fictionalized client number 4, we called her Tyler Marie with the tagline Happiness Solutions, and we did let our designer know that she was a mental health coach. Check out these logos that our designer came up with for Tyler Marie. Now I can let you in on a secret that the client was actually based on our client, Taylor Mitchell, who is a mental health and happiness coach. When we asked Taylor where her brand would hang out, she said in a 90s bar sipping on a Cosmo, very a la Sex and the City. And when we asked her what would your brand smell like, she said it would smell like when you walk into a Bath and Body Works. So just from those 2 pieces of information alone, I'm feeling a brand that's fun and bright and vivacious. This is what we came up with for Taylor. You can see that it's bright, it's poppy, hot pink, magenta is her favorite color, and she has a pretty bright Jeep too that's like a greenish chartreuse color. So we wanted to make sure that we represented those colors, but we wanted to make sure it wasn't childish too. So we added a nice pop of metallic gold in there too. So it gets that little bit of bougie sophistication in there too, just like she was looking for. So you have it here, folks. Let's do a side-by-side comparison of all of the logos that we got plus what we did. Now, I'm not going to make a judgment. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide who did the better job in the showdown between Fiverr designers and a true branding agency experience. But let's just say I was very underwhelmed by the process. Guys, thanks for spending some time here with me today. If you like this video, click that big red button and subscribe. And if you want to see what things are like working with a real branding agency, and you want to see behind the scenes, get behind the curtain, I would love to get you on a call to talk about your business. You can find out more details at www.brandbetterco.com/contact. Or you can send us a DM on Instagram at brandbetterco. I can't wait to talk to you and see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye, guys.